So, 2025 is shaping up to be a pretty wild year for AI. On one hand, we're seeing this massive, almost unbelievable leap forward in what AI can do. And on the other, the world's first real comprehensive rulebook for it is about to drop. We're talking about the intersection of incredible power and brand new principles. Let's get into what this actually means.
I want you to imagine something for a second. What if the AI you use every day didn't just get a little bit better, but fundamentally smarter? I mean, what if it didn't just answer your questions, but could actually run entire projects for you and write complex code from just a simple idea? Well, that's pretty much the story that's unfolding right now.
And look, we're not talking about another small incremental update here. This isn't just a point release. This is being talked about as a genuine step change. A leap so big it could redefine entire industries, from how we build software to how we do scientific research. It could change the very nature of professional work. All right, so what's actually under the hood of this new AI powerhouse? Let's take a closer look at the tech that's making all this happen.
Okay, so the core innovation here is this really clever real-time router. You can forget about manually picking the right model for the right job. This new system, it looks at your request and decides for you instantly. Does this just need a quick, snappy answer, or is this a complex problem that requires some deep, multi-step thinking? It just adapts on the fly.
So how does OpenAI actually package all this new power? Well, they've created this whole lineup of specialized models, and each one is basically engineered for a different kind of professional workflow.
And here's what that lineup looks like. You've got your standard model, which is kind of your daily driver for quick stuff, drafts and general questions. But then this thinking mode kicks in for the heavy-duty logic, like if you're analyzing a massive, complex spreadsheet. Pro is the absolute top tier, for when you need to be sure the answer is correct. Think debugging critical code. And finally, you have ChatGPT Agent, which is built to just automate entire workflows all on its own. It's a full toolkit now, not just a chatbot.
And check this out. This is the real-world impact for developers. On a test that's all about solving actual software issues from GitHub, GPT-5 is scoring almost 75%. That is a massive jump. It means it can start to handle the messy, practical problems that developers deal with every single day. We're talking faster development, fewer bugs, and way more time for creativity.
Now, let's switch gears to scientific reasoning. On questions that are literally designed for PhD-level experts, GPT-5 Pro is getting close to 90% accuracy. That means way fewer logical mistakes and more reliable answers on incredibly complicated topics, from particle physics to molecular biology. Just think about what that could do for accelerating scientific breakthroughs.
And then there's this, 100%. On a famously difficult competitive math tournament, the top model got a perfect score. We are now talking about a totally new level of reliability for tasks that demand provable, step-by-step logic. This is an absolute game changer for fields like engineering, finance, you name it.
But, this kind of never-before-seen power also raises some really big, profound questions about responsibility. And that brings us to the other side of our 2025 story.
Right? When a technology gets this capable, you can't just let it run wild. You need some kind of framework. You need rules to handle the risks of misuse, bias, and all the unintended consequences.
And now, the first big answer to that question is here, the European Union's AI Act. This is the world's very first attempt to create a comprehensive, legally binding framework for how artificial intelligence gets built and used.
So, what's actually inside this groundbreaking rulebook? Let's break down how it works and, more importantly, who it applies to.
First off, the Act has to define what it's even regulating, and the key word here is infers. Think of it this way. Normal software is like a microwave. It just follows a recipe, step by step. An AI system, on the other hand, is like a chef who can actually invent new recipes. This law is aimed at those inventive chefs, not the simple recipe followers.
The core idea of the Act is actually pretty simple. The more harm an AI system could potentially cause, the stricter the rules get. It creates these 4 different tiers of risk. It goes from things that are totally unacceptable and just banned outright, to high-risk systems that need intense scrutiny, all the way down to minimal risk stuff that's left alone. And that unacceptable risk category? It's crystal clear. Things like government-run social scoring systems or building giant facial recognition databases by scraping the internet, they're now just flat-out illegal in the EU. This is a very clear line in the sand against the most dystopian uses of AI. The Act also spells out who's on the hook. Think of it like a car. The provider, that's the car manufacturer, has the biggest responsibility to make sure their system is safe and compliant from the start. But the deployer, the person who's actually driving the car for their business, they also have clear responsibilities for monitoring it and using it safely.
And don't think this is some far-off distant concept. These deadlines are coming up fast. The ban on the most dangerous stuff kicks in by February 2025, and the main rules for big models like GPT-5 will apply just a few months after that.
So where does all this leave us? Well, we're standing at a pretty major crossroads with these two huge forces shaping the future of AI, this exponential growth in tech, and now the rise of a whole new regulatory world.
This is a key dynamic we're going to see play out. It's this delicate dance between unleashing the incredible potential of AI and at the same time making sure it's used in a way that actually benefits everybody. It's not about innovation versus regulation, it's about figuring out how to make them work together.
And this quote really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The point of the AI Act isn't to slow down innovation just for the sake of it. It's to ground that innovation in a really basic respect for human safety and our fundamental rights.
Which leaves us with the million-dollar question for 2025 and beyond. We've just seen how incredibly fast this technology is moving. Can our rules, our laws, and our societies adapt quickly enough to guide it towards a future that's not just powerful, but also fair and just? That, right there, is the challenge we all face now.